ready.
Welcome to another episode of Buff in the Rough. Today we're going to talk about what it takes to consistently produce top quality dogs for a successful breeding program with Vicky Bassitt. Help me welcome Vicky to the program. Well, Vicky, it's very nice to talk to you today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to visit with you. But could you, maybe for the folks that don't know you, or even the folks that do know you in the Beagle world, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and even a little bit, if you want to, about what you do outside of beagling? What else? What other interests do you have? What else are you into?
Well, I grew up with my dad. You know, he always hunted coon dogs and fox dogs and rabbit dogs. And so I had lost my mom early in life. So I, spent a lot of time with my dad hunting and doing things like that. That's how I kind of got started into the dogs. Did coon dogs for a long time and enjoyed that. But my dad had a heart attack and couldn't coon hunt anymore. So I went to the rabbit dogs, the beagles, because, they're smaller, they stay closer, you don't have to walk so far. Mm-hmm. And my husband at the time, John, we ended up buying 3 beagles, females. 2 were 8-week-old puppies, and then 1 was a year-old. And so everything I have comes from those 3 females. 2 of those females made world champion and won the world hunt. 1 won the nationals. The 3rd one got 6th on the world hunt and won the NHBA runoff and stuff. But everything I have, unless it's been an outcross I bought, goes to those 3 females.
Wow.
So, that same line. But luck would have it, the first 3 were pretty good.
I'd say so. That sounds pretty strong.
Yeah. So.
Well, where did they come from? Where'd you get those females?
Marvin Bowman, who was a houndsman up in Mansfield, Ohio, is where the puppies came from. And then the year-old female came from, I guess it'd be his cousin or his nephew up there. Someone had her as a gun dog, but they lost her every time they took her out. They couldn't catch her, and they got mad and sold her because they couldn't handle her. So she was the 3rd one that was a year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, it sounds like you got off to a great start.
The two young ones from Marvin were granddaughters to Lumberjack originally, and they were out of his field champion he had called Lumber's Easy Rider, was their sire. And then the one that kept getting lost all the time, she went back to Old Bad Cliff and a bunch of line of dogs that were popular back, kind of wood eye beagles and different things like that.
And so, Vicky, for people that may not know Lumberjack, what I think I do, but what kind of breeding is that?
He would have been one of Branko's dogs, one of his kind of foundation. I shouldn't say foundation, maybe, but one of the Branko sire, dogs that they had that they were real successful with in breeding and in trials.
So you start out early on with a lot of success. So could you tell me a little bit about where the Hurry Up name came from? When did you pick that up? When did you actually start your kennel?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out, because everybody has kind of a kennel name. And my dad would go with us, and he was always talking to the dogs, hurry up, let's go, hurry up, or, trying to get, when you first turn loose, sometimes some dogs start a little bit slow. And he was always trying to get them in the brush and going. He was always, hurry up. So that's where it came from, because of him always talking to the dogs, trying to get them to hurry up, let's go. So the kennel name came from him.
Well, tell us a little bit about, because one of the things that I did was I asked for some feedback from listeners about, what do they want to know more about. And one of the questions I got from several people was, I'd love to hear from someone who's been doing this for a while and who has consistently produced really top quality dogs that have done well in the competition area. But somebody, because that's going to show that you have a very successful breeding program. So they really wanted me to talk to somebody with a successful breeding program that lasted, more than a generation or two. You've been doing this for a while. I don't know if you told us how long you've been doing it, but
started in 2000.
In 2000, that's right. So working on decade number 3 now. So
Right,
you've been
right.
doing it for a while, and you're very successful. So you immediately came to mind, and you were somebody I wanted to ask about that. So when
Oh, I
you're
really appreciate that. Thank you.
well, when you're putting together these crosses, or you're picking out, uh, the males and females that you want to keep, what do you look for? What traits do you look for? What traits could someone expect out of a dog that has a hurry up name?
Um,
What?
First thing for me always, I want a dog that wants to hunt. That's got a lot of drive. It's going to be hopefully a jump dog, but a dog that's going to hunt hard and try hard. Not just going to hunt for maybe out there an hour, and some dogs kind of lose interest and mill around and don't do what they should. I want a dog that's focused and going to go hard looking for a rabbit right off, when you turn loose.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a dog get away from you, but that's not really hunting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can whip a dog and make it get away from me, but I can't make it search for a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I kind of feel like that's bred into them, that hard hunt. They want that desire to go and be gamey and find, the rabbit, whatever you're hunting for, but the rabbit with the beagles, that's, to have that focus and that drive that's the first thing I look for.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, if it's one I'm going to keep or one I'm going to breed to, I want to know not just that dog, but I want to know what the litter mates are. What the female side, I want to be as strong or stronger than the male side. You see a lot of people will breed to a big name stud dog, but the female is mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't, I want a dog that's bred strong on both sides, clear back through. It used to be, I was always told, or I'd always hear, you're going to get pups as good as your weakest link. So if the grandma's a piece of crap, chances are you're going to get puppies. Some of the puppies are going to be a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I came from the coonhound world, and I think you probably had some coonhound in your background too. It sounds like, and
Yes.
and I bred quite a few dogs in the past, and I love doing the same thing. I really like finding those good dogs out of good litters. I would almost rather breed good dogs out of good litters than that one great dog out of a not so good litter.
Absolutely, because your genetics, your traits are going to be a lot stronger coming out of a good litter. You don't want the freak to the nature, the freak
Mm-hmm.
of the litter. You want the common one that's a good, telling you what genetics is strong that they're carrying.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like I had better success. The litters I produced were more consistent if I had that kind of strategy. That's really interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
you really like that hunt, that drive that these little guys have. What about like speed, line control, some of those other things?
Speed, to me, speed is the easiest thing to breed into a dog. Everybody wants speed, but there again, it varies a lot. What I call a medium speed dog, someone else is calling a really fast dog.
Mm-hmm.
People, you see them online, they'll say, well, how many miles on your Garmin, how many miles an hour does your dog run? Is it really fast? Well, so much other things come into that. The conditions the dog's running in, the area, like is it running through really thick brush compared to an open cow pasture? Just, those things are going to make a huge difference in the speed of the dog. So it's kind of relative what I call a medium speed or upper medium speed. A lot of people call blister fast. I mean, everybody rates them different. I like a fast dog or upper medium speed dog, but I don't want a rough dog.
Mm-hmm.
Not to the point where they're, they don't care about the track. They only care about being ahead. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. What about one of the things entering into this beagle world that I learned early on was that they come in all different shapes and sizes and colors. To you, what's your perfect beagle? What do they look like?
I want a dog, and I want it with some leg under it. I want it to be able to run hours, mile. I want it to be structurally sound. I don't really necessarily want it to look like a bench show dog. If you look at the hair dogs, large pack on hair, those dogs run hours and hours. Mm-hmm. They sure don't look like bench dogs. Mm-hmm. But structurally, they've got to be sound to do that. If they're not, they couldn't run hair for hours and hours, right? So in a dog that can take a beating and just keep running. I've had some really nice 13-inch dogs that were as fast, and could compete with 15s. But let's face it, you get a foot of snow on, the bigger dog's going to, they're just going to have an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Well, that brings me to this. So you're in Ohio?
Yes.
So what is it like hunting there? Is it thick? Is it open? Is it hilly? Is it flat?
Well, we have a little bit of everything in Ohio. Where I have mostly is at public. It's reclaimed strip mine land. So it's big, open brush country. It's, got really thick areas. Some areas a little more open, but I hunt a lot of the big reclaimed strip mine public area. And your dog has to hunt hard, and it's probably going to have to range out. If not, you're going to walk yourself to death. I mean, there are places you can hunt in Ohio that are like farmland, be 10-acre patches of briars and pasture. Mm-hmm. That's great. But where I hunt, it might be a 300-acre field with no road, and dog's going to have to range out to find a rabbit because it gets pounded pretty hard. And I don't want to just spend all day out there walking around in circles looking for a rabbit. I'm going to kind of be lazy and sit by the tailgate until they jump one. And then walk out.
I think I like that kind of hunting.
That's more for me. I'm not getting off the road and walking through the brush unless, I'm trying to shoot a rabbit or something. But other than that, I'm not.
I mean, I had a fella tell me one time, why do you need a dog if you've got to go in and beat the brush? That's what the dog's for.
Exactly. I mean, if there's a rabbit by my feet, I don't need a dog.
So you mentioned snow. Now down where I am, we rarely get much snow. You may hunt in it once, twice a year, maybe. So up there, is that something you do hunt in quite a bit?
We get some snow and I don't know, maybe a foot and a half. I like to go hare hunting up into Michigan and places. You're going to get a lot more snow up there, and it's going to stay on, and it's going to be deeper,
So,
but still.
So, Vicky, you hunt your same dogs on hare and like cottontail or smaller rabbits too? Same dogs. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
same old dogs. Same ones that take to hunts.
Well, tell us a little bit about hare hunting. What's that like? What's the difference? Like,
the dogs will run. A hare will run. It'll sound like, if you're not used to it, it'll sound like your dogs are running a deer. Mm-hmm. You have very rarely go into a check. They'll be heads up running as hard as they can. They might go out 800 yards. I mean, they'll be clear out of hearing. Mm-hmm. And like, oh my gosh. Well, if you wait a little bit, you'll hear them start to come back into hearing. They'll make a big loop, and they'll be coming back. But on a normal day, hare hunt, I'll have 20 or 25 miles on by lunch.
Wow.
On dogs, and I'll switch out dogs. It's, you'd have to hunt all day hard in Ohio to get that many miles.
Yes, definitely here as well.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Hare run a lot bigger and faster, a lot further. So and like I said, it's more of a heads up, sounds like a deer track. It's, real strong scent.
Well, Vicky, what are a couple of the nicer hounds that you've had over the years?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What are a couple of the nicest hounds that you've had over the years?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I've had some that have been real successful. Some of the ones I like the most never even have been in a trial, I just like a dog that goes real hard, that hunts hard. I don't mind if they don't come so well when I call them. I don't care if they're blue tick or lemon and white, or I don't care what color they are, just as long as they're built sound. Mm-hmm. I like a dog with a nice voice, a nice mouth on it, because if I'm going to listen to it bark 30 or 40 hours a week, I want it to be pleasing to my ear, not sound like nails on a chalkboard. I know that's being picky, but I'm serious. I mean, if you're gonna sit out there and listen to the thing run for hours, I want it to be something that is pleasing to my ear, not something like you want to squint when it barks.
Vicky,
when something stands out in a pack, I like to have a dog that's unusual or stands out, in a pack of dogs running, that you can pick that dog out.
Well, I got to tell you, I'll admit this since you're telling me some of those things that you like. I like hunting a pretty dog. If I'm going to be out there, same kind of deal. If I'm going to be out there and investing my time and energy in a hound and being around it, I mean, I like one that looks pretty.
Right, and what they always. I like one houndy looking dog, or one. I mean, the first thing you see when you walk up or out your kennel is its head. Mm-hmm. Right. If it's got an ugly little bottle nose, I'm not picking on anybody's dog, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want it to look, I mean, that's the first thing you see. Mm-hmm. I want to have something pleasing to the eye, that it's a beagle, that it's a hound, when you walk out and see it in the kennel.
Well, Vicky, I think we've done a pretty good job of covering, what you like in a hound, what maybe you don't like in a hound, the different types of hunting. So your hounds have to do it in a couple different regions.
Right.
So they've got to adapt. So they've got to be smart too. So what's made you so successful in breeding? I mean, other than you mentioned, and I kind of took you down a rabbit hole, pun intended. But you started out just talking about looking at the entire litters of the dogs and where they came from. But what else do you look for? I mean, what else has helped you be successful?
You see people a lot of times that they'll post a pedigree and say, what should I breed this dog to? And, to me, you just don't go just by the papers. Don't go just by the pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your dog. What does it lack, or what do you want to improve, or what would you change about
mm-hmm.
that dog? Say it isn't quite fast enough, so I would look for a dog that's faster. That I want to cross. Try to improve what the female I have, what I would change about her. Find a dog that what she lacks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go just by the papers. That papers are great, and I'm 100% behind having registered dog. Kind of gives her you're going. What hopefully what I can expect, but I don't go just papers. You've got to be aware of what the dog is too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
so I like to know what that way what the dog's bringing to the table.
And so, how often do you go outside of your kennel? I mean, do you line breed a lot? Do you outcross a lot?
I line breed some. I don't maybe do as close as some people. I'll do like an aunt to a nephew,
mm-hmm.
or maybe a grandfather to a granddaughter. I'm fine with breeding outside dogs. I'm always looking for a dog or a line of dogs, something I really like that I want to outcross on that I think would match up good. I'm not kennel blind by any means. There's a lot of great dogs and great kennels out there. Always on the lookout, trying to find something I think would cross good. One of the biggest things I enjoy going to the ARJ World Hunt is because there's so many dogs there, and you can see about every line of dog out there that you've ever heard of. You get a chance to go out with some of them there.
Oh, wow.
So, I can go to that and never even take a dog and have a ball and hunt every round, and see some good dog work. So, I'm always looking and watching and checking out other dogs.
Well, this is a good segue to ask you this question. So you've hunted all over, you've competed on every level. So what are some of the nicest hounds that you've competed against that weren't yours, didn't come from Hurry Up?
Man, there are a lot. There are a ton of good dogs out there, and I'll run an AKC Midwest some. I'll run an ARJ Little Pack some. I run an UKC. Have run in PKC, but not so much here lately. But there are good dogs running in every format.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a little different style dogs in each format, but I mean there are some nice dogs out there. People have there people are packing, and go out there and watch them and go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the ones. Well, probably the ones I think were pretty good. You can probably tell because I've outcrossed on them.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, well, that kind of tells it. And not saying that they're better than the other dogs, just the ones I think match well to the style dog I like to hunt. So they're kind of the same style.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Grub Farm Charlie dog.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away now. But I thought he was a real nice dog. The Chubby Checkers dog that Roy Swafford and those guys hunted for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Liked him real well. I like Krabby had a dog called Dixon that Ryan Durham hunted in AKC, and he also was an ARJ. I like that dog real well.
Mm-hmm.
I hunted with when Branca was down here running. He ran with one tough hombre.
Mm-hmm.
He liked him. Trying to think about Joe Clark had a dog called Iceman. I really liked. It was a 13-inch male. Ran in AKC. So they've been different, in different formats, different dogs, and no particular, just one, kennel or one person kind of had the key locked up on it. Matt Golonsky had a real nice dog I liked. In fact, I bred to him and raised some pups out of him as big time.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been, there's several over the years that I've seen, that I really liked. Some I didn't get to breed to, some I did, but there's some nice dogs.
Well, it's super to get to ask you this question because I didn't really have this one on my mind, but you've hunted in a lot of different formats. Like, do you have a favorite or a couple favorites that you like, and why?
the biggest thing is what are, I don't have to travel 5 hours to go to a hunt. Like most people, I'm not overloaded on cash and money, so if there's a local club hunt, that's probably what I'm going to go to versus driving 6 hours to one that
Mm-hmm.
in a different format. So a lot of it's just what's local, what I can attend without costing an arm and a leg, because I can't go every weekend like some people do.
Mm-hmm.
So UKC, there are a lot of those in this area, and ARJ, there's some little pack hunts in this area. So now Denny, they've started having a lot more AKC Midwest out of the Martinsburg Club, and so I've gone to several of those here in the last year or so. Because they're close. I like it. I like them all. It's just whether the convenience is a lot of it. I don't lie.
Well, honestly, the more I learn about the different formats, it sounds like the basics of them are pretty similar. They're all a little different, but generally speaking, they're fairly similar on the basic stuff. So, keeping that in mind, what if you could change something about how we hunt dogs or how we score them, or are there any things that you would like to see changed?
I don't like the new rules where your dog is UKC for one. I don't like the new rule where your dog is plus without seeing the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
For me, in several casts, it seems like a dog that's mouthier is going to score and win more because it's going to open and trail more.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't like the plus on the strike without seeing the rabbit. I don't like the rule where you can use a training collar. You can carry use a training collar on the dog, a TT15, say, during a trial. Yeah, coming from the coonhound world, people don't realize you can have five handhelds connected to that collar.
Yes.
Just because the handler has his turned off doesn't mean that the one sitting in the truck does. You can stop a dog from cold trailing. You can stop a dog from running trash. The handler doesn't have to have theirs on, but his buddy sure can.
Wow. I hadn't even thought about that, but that is so true.
I mean, it used to be, to catch your dog well, that's part of training before you come to the hunt.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's some new rules I'm not wild about, but I know they have good reasons they've made them, and I understand that. It's just rules I wouldn't, I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not going to quit hunting because of it,
Well, Vicky, I want to ask you this question too. So, when you go to these hunts, or at least when probably you started 20-something years ago, probably not a lot of women there.
No, not too many. There are a few around, but not too many. There really aren't a lot now either. There are a few, but.
Well, was that hard for you? I mean, do you have any advice for a young girl or a young woman that's interested in competing?
Just go and hunt. Don't ask to be treated special. Don't expect people to hold a fence for you or catch your dog for you. Mm-hmm. Just go and be honest and handle your dog.
Mm-hmm. I have noticed kind of in the region where I hunt, it seems like there's a real push to engage young people and keep them active, and there's a lot of programs out there that really promote youngsters, and a lot of those youngsters, at least in the clubs that I'm hunting out of, there's a lot of girls.
You're right.
There might be more girls at some of these clubs I go to than young boys. So, so I think that's
like there are.
I think that's a good thing. Well, let me ask you another question. That's kind of look into the future and make predictions. So, where do you think the sport's headed overall? I mean, you've been in this for working on decade number 3 here, and so I know you've seen changes over the years. Probably some good, probably some maybe not so good. But where do you think we're headed?
As far as the sport or the style of dog?
Well, both. Let's talk about both.
I think I'm seeing a lot rougher dogs run than I used to. There used to be rules about running a rough dog, cutting and skirting, not throwing any format under the bus. But if anything, I think ARJ is developing a stronger check dog and less of a rough dog, where the other formats seem to be. We're getting a lot rougher dogs. It kind of seems like a change and going the opposite way. It used to be RHA had a reputation of having really rough dogs, but it seems like they're getting the better check dogs now, and not so rough, and the other formats are getting the rougher ones. So it does seem like it's going that way. The hunts seem like there are a lot less people coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
The hunts are a lot smaller than they used to be. I mean, it used to be nothing for it to go to a hunt and be, 4 or 5 open casts and 2 or 3 champion casts at a local club hunt.
Yes.
Now if you have 1 cast of each at some of these some of these clubs, that's all you can expect.
Why do you think
really
that is?
off.
I mean, what happened? Is it economy? Is it just competition for young people? There's lots of other options for them other than hunting. What do you think's going on?
It just I know that some people have trouble, finding places to hunt as much maybe as what they used to. I know around here there's so much land leased up by deer hunters, out-of-state deer hunters or out-of-area deer hunters, because we have large bucks in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to get permission to run dogs on anybody's farm because it's all leased out for deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fortunate where I live because I have so much of the state land here. I've got thousands of acres of state land within an hour of my house, that I can run rabbit and dogs on.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me a lot. But and kids people come to hunts and have a bad time and they just don't come back.
Yeah, I could see that too.
They feel like they've been taken advantage of or somebody's, treated them wrong. And I mean, why go back? They don't need that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I know it can happen where you have somebody new that shows up and not have a positive experience.
Right.
And they're not coming back.
That can ruin it. People just don't come after that.
Sure.
And spend their money. I mean, why come on Sunday morning and, you're probably going to spend $100 to run your dog. By the time you figure your gas and everything, why do that just to be, someone to treat you bad and cheat you and run down your dog?
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, let me ask you another question, kind of piggybacking on the deer leases. One of the things I've got my next guest after this is going to be, he's I guess you'd call him a ranger, here in North Carolina. And so one of the things I want to ask him about is in North Carolina, it seems like deer hunting has really hurt small game hunting, period, whether it's rabbits or coon hunting or, fill in the blank, squirrel hunting, because
right.
Everybody says around here, we kind of joke about it. Hey, Sam, you can come hunt all you want. You just have to wait till after deer season. Well, deer season, it seems like it lasts half the year long. It's just
it does
ridiculous.
Up here. I mean, it starts with bow season in September, and it didn't go out till January, February.
Okay, well it sounds very similar to here, and I think that personally, I think that's hurt us as much as anything. Is this long, perpetual, just never-ending deer season? And I know there's probably lots of reasons, political and insurance-driven and everything else, to stretch it out that long. But my goodness, it really hurts the small game folks.
I agree. I think it does. And like so many of our local farms and local areas, I mean, and we have, celebrities come in here and buy 500-acre tracts and to deer hunt here and stuff like that. I mean, the places you could have hunted on before, run your rabbit dog, nobody cared, your neighbor's farm. But now it's completely off limits because the deer hunters don't want anyone on it or around it. They don't even want anyone on it when it's not season. Mm-hmm. They have feeders out and food plots and that type of thing, so they don't want anybody getting on it at all.
Well, I want to ask you maybe another question or two, and we'll wrap up. But what's your favorite dog right now? Doesn't have to be the one that's winning all the hunts or anything, but if you just could go out there and pick one dog you just want to hunt, you just really like them.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like asking you your favorite kid. I know.
Enjoy young dogs. I'll leave the old ones said. Anything over 2 years old, I call old one 2 or 3.
Oh my goodness.
Usually I like hunting young ones, but I don't know. I'm fortunate to have several dogs out here that are pretty much finished dogs, and I can go out and do them loose and be confident I'm going to rabbit until I'm ready to go home or whatever. I enjoy hunting a young dog and watching them progress more than the old dog. But there's when I old dog, I'm saying anything over 3. But it's nice some days to go out and not have any headache where you got to watch and think and what's it doing now and is that a deer or did it just jump a rabbit or that kind of thing. It's nice to have this time you can just go out and relax and not be trained. So.
Well, Vicky, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have? Anything that you want to talk about that I didn't ask you about?
No. Okay. Wish everyone luck in the fall trials.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. I know you're super busy, and you are very well regarded in the sport, and I really appreciate you taking time to share some good stories with us, some background on you, and what it takes to have a successful breeding program.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me and doing this interview. I really do. I appreciate that a lot.
You
Have
take
a good
care.
afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Buff in the Rough, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to be notified when we have new content available. Please send comments and suggestions to buffintherough@gmail.com. Join us next time to talk about hunting on game lands, Bigfoot sightings, rattlesnakes, and more with North Carolina Department of Wildlife Officer Brandon Jones.